workers coming to Kent and the UK should be subject to the same visa requirements as non-EU migrants after Brexit. That's according to the Migration Advisory Committee that has also recommended scrapping limits on higher skilled migrants coming to the UK. So what could all this mean? To help us work it out, Laura Garcia, lecturer at the University of Kent, here with me now. Thanks for joining me. Tell us a little bit more about what's been said in this report.
So this report was commissioned about a year ago by then Home Secretary Amber Rudd, who's no longer there in her post anymore, to try and shape the government's immigration policy after Brexit. And the idea was that they were going to commission someone who was impartial to look into the system, to look into the numbers, and see what recommendations they could make moving forward. As you said, they've realised two things, or they recommend two things. Number one is that EU workers don't get special treatment, and number two is that the targets that there are, the limits that there are on high-skilled workers be removed. And all of this because the report finds that there has been no negative impact, and this is how they phrased it, from EU migration to the UK, which is a similar way of trying to say that there's been a positive impact without saying that, because they're aware of how politically emotional and volatile this topic can be.
And how complicated is it to come from a foreign country to the UK to work? What's your experience of it as someone coming from Mexico, for instance?
Yeah, so for example, in my case, the university had to advertise my job for 12 weeks. So you have to make sure that it's a good enough time so other people can apply for it. It also means that it's not a quick hire. So if you need to bring someone in quickly, that's not the way to do it. The uni also has to pay a certain amount to be registered with the Home Office to sponsor people, so that's a cost. Then once they decided to offer me my job, they have to pay also a sponsorship fee. I had to pay a fee. I also had to pay a fee for the NHS, which is something that people don't realise, that people who come from outside the EU, we pay £200 a year up front for the amount of length that our visa was given to us. So you're talking about a couple £1,000s involving both the business and the person taking the job. And that would change the job market quite significantly. If you think of the people that come from the EU, will mostly work in the hospitality sector or in education or nursing, which are jobs where you might not necessarily have £5,000 or £4,000 to put down to take down your job. And also the government currently has limits of what you have to earn to be able to apply for a visa. So this report throws kind of like a spanner in the works, and they'll have to have a really deep and thorough look into what the rules are and how to make the level playing field applicable so that businesses can work around it.
Absolutely, it'll be interesting to see how the government takes all that information on board. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Laura.
definitely.